Howdy ho and welcome to Rodos Reviews. This time it's all about Funeral Doom, or Doom of some sorts related to Funeral Doom. This one is Skepticism with the album called Companion. This one came out in around 10th of September 2021, so arriving a little bit late here, but still quite on time. Now, those of you who don't know what skepticism is all about, well, it's one of those founding fathers of the whole funeral doom genre. That is this kind of a ultra heavy, ultra slow paced doom metal, which is kind of, in a way, more related to death doom than actual doom metal. That is, if you're comparing to bands which have like clean vocals and stuff, which is sometimes, well, quite often to be honest, related to heavy metal, but kind of a slower and, lacking certain elements that heavy metal is all about. But whether Funeral Doom is actually more death or more doom doesn't really matter. What matters is that Skepticism, being one of those founding fathers, have now trampled their path for 30 years or even more. The band that started in 1991 released their first album in 1995 called Stormcrow Fleet, which became kind of an underground classic for the music and the genre to begin with. And since that, the band has been pushing out new albums every now and then. But let's be honest about it, the pace isn't exactly the quickest right there. I mean, since 1995, only 6 albums have emerged. That's not too much, given it's 25 years. So, all in all, every few years pops up a new Skepticism album, and it's always a thing, in a way, at least for people operating in that funeral doom genre. What is also curious is that, if you take a look at this lineup, all of them, the 4 guys here, are from 1991. So it's like the band never suffered from so troublesome lineup issues, which makes this rather interesting. However, really can't say that Companion is like Funeral Doom stuff back in the early 90s. In fact, there are lots of similarities, but also these differences which make Companion an interesting album at the same time, as well as kind of like ready to break some barriers. Now, Companion runs for some 48 minutes with its 6 tracks, so they're all quite lengthy ones. Now the question is, how much this can offer to an old Skepticism fan? I'm not the right person to answer that question for obvious reasons. Never been exactly a Funeral Doom fan, even though I have somewhat always pretty much been, very comfortable listening to it, but it's not like it's my favorite genre. Now the thing here is, these songs are lengthy, these are heavy, these are slow paced, and not for the hasty people, not for people like me who are looking for aggression or, some kind of a melancholia with the music, or even happy tunes, uplifting moments or whatever. Skepticism is in so many ways quite the opposite for these values or ideas. That is, there is no aggression. There's a lot of heaviness though. There are no uplifting moments, but there are lots of, very monumental, very kind of dramatic use of keyboards there. And then there are obviously these guitar riffs which are slow and heavy. So heavy is the keyword here, also with the, slow tempo. But it's not like this is the very basic of Funeral Doom, because in fact, this is almost like a fast album for a Funeral Doom album. That is, this is definitely going towards mid-tempo parts, not fast ones, actually. But something that makes me feel that this is not as slow as it used to be. Maybe it's a perspective problem here in my head, I don't know. But yeah, definitely feels like the band is actually kind of putting more gas to the pedal. Not that it is a bad thing, just something that maybe some people will notice. Rolly vocals are very much present here. Nothing too fancy or mind-blowing, but definitely solid work. But what really strikes me with this album is the overall atmosphere. That is heavy and kind of a tragic, very, very dramatic with those keyboards, which are like, those church organs in a way, sounding majestic, big, and kind of a gloomy. So there is this certain kind of a gloomy and doomy feeling all out through the record, and it's definitely for fans of the given genre. It's not like the band has changed too much, but it's definitely not like things were with early 90s with the given genre, Funeral Doom. But I wouldn't say this is necessarily an album for doom purists, those who are into clean vocals and more heavy metal approach. But also those who have a death doom into their liking. I mean, people who can like bands like, for example, My Dying Bride, especially the early ones. This is quite close to that, even if not exactly the same. So, solid release, but kind of hard to get into, because this is not of a memorable riff so much as it is for this dramatic atmosphere. So I keep saying these dramatic things here because this is all about being that gloomy and dramatic thing all over. So it totally depends how much you're gonna get out of this, whether or not you are into that kind of atmosphere to begin with. If you like your music slow, heavy, and gloomy, this is definitely right up your alley. Then again, if all you want is good mood, uplifting moments, aggression, fast pace, etc., don't go for this. It's not gonna do much for you. So Skepticism is already out. Actually, here it says September 24th, but I don't know. It seems to depend on what kind of information you have, because the promotional letter suggested otherwise. Anyway, go to check out when possible. This is New Skepticism, and they are playing gigs now as well. Stay tuned for more Rauta stuff coming your way. Bye bye.